on the tour, so I'm going to ask you guys to make sure you stay close, and that way the actors won't have to yell at you either. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name is Sylvia. I'm going to be one of your 3 tour guides. In the back over there is Donna, and over there is Kathy.
Hi.
On behalf of the Gretna Historical Society, we'd like to welcome you to the 5th annual cemetery tour. And this is the Hook and Ladder Cemetery, and it's a very old and historic cemetery. Our goal tonight is to entertain you and to inform you with stories of some of the people who built our community. It's not a ghost tour. There won't be anybody popping out and saying boo. Okay? Darn. As we wind through the sections of the cemetery that is over 150 years old, we'll stop and visit 8 different tombs where presenters will tell you the stories of the people that they represent. Tonight we celebrate their lives and celebrate the effect that they made on our community. This cemetery was established in February of 1858 when the Hook and Ladder Fire Company No. 1 purchased 3 lots of ground for a fireman's public burying ground. In January of 1882, 3 more lots were purchased. We are now standing in what they call the modern section, and that was added in 1937. Not real modern, but compared to the other ones, yes. It was. And so we're currently in the modern section. The cemetery appears to be divided into 11 segments. This modern section is nicely laid out with paths and cross sections, and they're named. And as you go through it, if you look down, you'll see the names of the different aisles. The burial plots are nicely arranged, but the older segments is more of a jumble. They didn't really have a plan at that point. Some of the paths and cross streets in the older section have names and they're on a map, but they're no longer visible, and we have no idea where they are. The Hook and Ladder Cemetery is typical of a lot of the old New Orleans cemeteries in that all the graves are above ground. Anybody know why they built them above ground?
Water.
The water table. Before they started building them above ground, they would have to drill holes in the caskets and jump on them to get them to sink. And of course, every time they had a rain, they would all float up. And even with Katrina, they had some that still did that. But again, they vary from a very modest to very elaborate marble structures. There are at least 900 burial sites in this cemetery, and according to Catherine Chamberlain's Book of Tomb Inscriptions, as of 2010, there were approximately 1,565 interments here. The earliest burials date back to 1850. So we're going to ask you to please turn off your cell phones, and also do not talk when the actors are speaking. Be respectful of the graves. Don't stand or sit on them, because some of them are very old, and we don't want any unscheduled burials to happen. So watch your step. There are lots of uneven areas, and especially when it gets darker, you're going to need your flashlights, and that'll happen about halfway through the tour. So as we begin, let us step back into the past now, and we'll begin our historic cemetery tour. You would follow me right this way. Remember, let's stay together.
No, just take my phone. No, sorry. Turn your phone on.
I will.
There's plenty of room on this side and both sides.
Hello everybody, my name is Adrian Frank Babe Laperoni Sr. I was born on December 23rd, 1896 here in Gretna. My dad, who immigrated from France, owned a butcher shop at the corner of 2nd and Lavoisier Street. According to Robert Emmett Kennedy, author of Red Bean Road, my dad's butcher shop is where all the characters went to gossip. Still there, etched in blue tile on the corner sidewalk of 2nd and Lavoisier Street, is a landmark that says Laparoni Market. I graduated from Gretna High School and Spencer Business College and served in the Army in WW1. While serving, I fought in France and was shot in the leg. In 1931, I was the Jefferson Parish Deputy Assessor under the Assessor George T. Hebe. I got the nickname Babe because that's what my teammates called me when I played baseball for the Assessor's team. I was a power hitter, plus mostly played second base. We played against the Sheriff's team, the Assessor's team, the Clerk's team, and other city teams at local ballparks. The losers would pay for the beer and the eats after the games. I married Emma Saban in 1931, and my son Adrian Jr. was born in 1932. Emma was a homebody, kept up with the chores of raising my son and tending to the house. She was also a registered nurse at Hotel Dieu. In 1933, the First National Bank of Jefferson, or FNJ as y'all remember, opened, and I would soon be on the board of directors and was a shareholder for many years. I accumulated my wealth from real estate, land development, and personal money lending. Vernon Wiltie, buried 2 tombs over, and Nat Knight and myself, we developed the old Garden Park subdivision from 5th to 11th Street. I also held the mortgage on many family members, which sometimes caused domestic disputes. I didn't succeed in politics. I ran for many public offices, including Justice of the Peace and Tax Assessor. In 1959, I was part of the Cosey-Swegman's ticket, where Bill Cosey re-ran for sheriff, I ran for tax assessor, and John Swegman ran for parish president. Vernon Wiltie Jr., buried with his father Vernon 2 tombs over, won that seat. He beat me to his 70% of the vote to my 15%. I loved to fish, kept a yacht called the Silver Fox down at my camp in Grand Isle. My closest friends, Beauty, Elas, and Gertie Templet, would spend many weekends down there together. We loved to boil crabs and fry fish. The Templet children called me Uncle Babe. On other weekends, I would spend time with my grandkids. On Fridays, I'd pick them up from the school bus stop, and we'd spend an entire weekend down there. They loved hanging out in Grand Isle. Hanging on the wall in my camp was a life-size nude photo of Marilyn Monroe. Once a year, I would loan my camp to some Catholic nuns. I went back the week after, photo was gone. Sisters denied ever removing it. I loved to have a good time and got info what was going on around town at local parties. My motto was, you shouldn't be the life of the party, but the ears of the party. You get a lot of good information from inebriated party guests. I loved to dance and would accompany my close companion, Gertie Templet, to many Mardi Gras balls. You will meet Gertie on this tour and find out all the wonderful talents she had. I was a sharp dresser and wore nice hats that I purchased from Meyer the Hatter. And when I went on social calls, I wore a red rose picked from the bush next to my house. I'd also be seen smoking Keep Moving cigars. In 1965, at age 67, there was an attempt to murder me. During an argument with my nephew, Cecil Laparoni, I was shot by him. Shot me in the left shoulder. The bullet went clean through, and I survived. According to the newspaper article, the reason for the argument by the investigating deputy was not determined. But the truth of the matter was, it was over the mortgage that I held on Cecil. Towards the end of my life, I became very close with my loving wife, Emma. She was there for me during my last days of my illness. On December 3rd, 1975, close to age 79, I passed away. Thank you very much.
And Adrian Laparoni was portrayed by Mr. Paul Coles, and this is Paul's 5th year being an actor.
I covered George Hebe and Adrian Laparoni. I circle around. And Vernon Wiltie.
He's been around.